Afternoon of basketball. Landon Lucas in the middle. Bill Self, Hall of Famer. He's going to get that award this year at the Final Four in Phoenix. Shaka Smart, on the other hand, he's got a tremendous young local talent here. Jared Allen, who had a monster game up at Lawrence when the Longhorns played against the Jayhawks. 22 points, 19 rebounds. He's going to need all of that and more, plus a lot of help. Shaka Smart, just in his second year, still looking for that one transcendent player who's going to put this program back on the intergalactic stage.
I'm just shocked that you made it here. I honestly wasn't sure whether it would just be me calling this game, given that you rarely go outside the state of California. I wasn't sure they'd let you in this state.
It was incredible. I got here late last night. Shocking that the plane out of LAX would be late. I come down the escalator, and at the bottom of the escalator, it says, passports not needed. Oh, my gosh. Where was Dr. No for a photo?
Here's Josh Jackson on the drive. You see the talent already. Going to be a top 5 pick, maybe the #1 pick in the NBA draft.
Who said that? He's right-handed, by the way, and will promise to be so the rest of the way.
Chad Ford has him #3. You know him, right?
Yeah.
And other people have him higher than that.
What does Jerry Westboard say?
He hasn't shown it to me yet.
And he won't. With good reason. He's not showing that to anybody. Who's on Magic's board?
Lonzo Ball, I'll bet. Whoa! With one on the timer, he had to shoot that.
God.
Yeah, he had to shoot it, Bill. There was
poor
one on the shot
execution.
clock.
That's your first possession. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas is so athletic. Texas, though, they're no slouches. They got a lot of guys who can get it done out there. Andrew Jones, Kerwin Roach, Eric Davis. You bring Kendall Yancey and Jacob Young off the bench.
But on the season, they have 18 losses, 4-11 in Big 12 play. All of their games at home in conference play have been close as Jackson nails a 3. He's got all 5 for the Jayhawks.
When Josh Jackson hits that three-pointer, I mean, this is a guy who's just getting started. Out of Detroit, so many legends from there. Had the privilege of meeting him today for the first time, and most impressive young man.
You spoke to the team, right? Didn't Bill Self have you out there and give words of wisdom to the team as Texas is on the board with Shaq Claire, their starting center?
I don't think that was Coach Self's intention. He asked me a question, and it went from there mostly downhill.
Yeah, I understand. Bill told me that when he asked you a question that you actually made your way out to the court, and then Bill just said, you know what, I'll let the other Bill talk to the team.
Well, I was so lucky that I played for a Hall of Fame coach myself. And to know Bill Self as a person, to witness him as a coach, to see him and work with him in all different kinds of off the basketball court situation, the privilege that these young men have for the Jayhawks to play for someone like Bill Self.
What'd you tell them, though? What'd you tell the team?
That was this morning.
What would you tell them? You must have. Bill Self said that what you said hit home. That a lot of the players were listening intently and that they got a lot out of it. So what did you say? You really don't remember, do you?
I'm
All right, let's move on. Here's Davis for 3. Josh Jackson, the rebound. Welcome to the Big 12, Bill. Oh, missed layup on the other end by Mason.
What's the name of this conference?
It's just the Big 12.
The Big
it has
12.
10 teams,
10 teams in it.
Yeah, the Big 10 has 14 teams. Don't worry, you don't have to do a Big 10 game. We're not going to ask you to do that.
And Bob Bowlesby is the commissioner here, who came from Stanford and is a great friend and partner of Larry Scott and what they do and the Longhorn Network and this incredible business that is the University of Texas. Oh, my gosh. Josh, no, that's
Devontae Graham with a steal. Now Jackson, great look by Jackson, and a foul called on Kerwin Roach.
So it's been a nightmare early on for Shaka Smart. Because everything he talked about in our pregame meeting has come true. He said, we can't turn the ball over. We can't succumb to the pressure that they're going to put on. We got to get back on defensive transition. And this guy, Svi, at the free throw line, this is a real talent, Svi, from Ukraine, 6'8" junior, and just an absolute gem of a basketball player who was discovered at the Nike Hoop Summit a couple years ago up in Portland, Oregon, and now he's just come over here to Kansas and just never missed a beat.
His last name is Mikhailuk.
Svi.
Yes. Mikhailuk. He played basketball, soccer, and ping pong in high school.
I love ping pong.
How can you play ping pong if your wrist don't bend?
For years, until the children went to college, we had a ping pong table in our living room, in our dining room, I guess it was called. It was called the ping pong room.
Wow.
Look at Graham.
Another turnover. Graham by himself with a slam. 9-2. Jayhawks. Timeout. Texas.
Wow. I had the privilege of watching the Baylor game a week ago. The Jayhawks, 8-0 run to finish that, but boy, they have not looked back here today.
Okay. Standing player at the Big 12 tournament last year. The Jayhawks will be the #1 seed at the Big 12 tournament this year. Bill Self, what an amazing job he's done in 14 years. He's won 82% of his games, 2 Final Fours, and the 2008 national title.
This is the fourth stop, in Bill Self's Hall of Fame career, starting at Oral Roberts, then Tulsa. Fine years at Illinois, where the rivalry they had with the University of Arizona. Look at the crossover, Josh Jackson.
Out of bounds, though, it hit the hand of Landon Lucas. But Jackson is so skilled. We saw him make a three-pointer earlier. That's an area of his game that has really gotten better. He was shooting in the mid-30s percentage-wise. I know you love stats. In the non-conference, in Big 12 games, he's shooting 43% from three-point line.
Is that good?
That's really good. That's what about Lonzo Ball shoots.
Oh, he's really good.
Land. So there you go. Give you a UCLA reference, and that'll help give you some perspective.
Context, please.
Allen in the lane puts it in. Jarrett Allen,
whose dad was a real player. Leonard Allen for San Diego State, my backyard. Steve Fisher did a great job of developing young Leonard Allen, and now the next generation coming along. Jarrett loved the Jimi Hendrix hairdo.
Mikhailuk off the mark on the 3 out of bounds to Texas.
I wish I had hair.
By the way, speaking of Leonard, Kawhi Leonard played last night for San Antonio. R.C. Buford is here, the general manager of the Spurs.
You know who else is here today? Keith Askins from the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
The Miami Heat are following us around. We see Bob McAdoo, we see Keith Askins. Pat Riley has built a remarkable culture there for the Heat.
Here's Andrew Jones off the bounce, able to hit the jumper, so Texas out of the timeout, scored the last 4 points.
And the way that Riley keeps the old guys around. I mean, all these years that he's been down there in Miami, and so many of them are still there. Little Timmy Donovan, Dr. Yes.
Oh, what a spin and finish. Guy that's very underrated on this team, Landon Lucas. Grew up in Tokyo, Japan, but
he's a Portland boy,
Portland,
Oregon boy.
Yep.
You know, his dad is from Oregon and played at the University of Oregon, Conference of Champions. We're still working on the nickname for the.
Oh, we've got it.
We've got Conference of Big 12.
That's a tease. Just wait. All right, be patient. Let's not get rid of everything here in the first 5 minutes.
I love the way that Kansas plays. So,
Rick Mason with a drive and score.
So I'm 64 years old. I've been following Kansas forever, right? And I always thought of them as slow, plodding, farmers, Kansas, right, the plains. And now all of a sudden, they're like the fastest team. All these little racehorse guys just pushing, shooting threes in transition.
You have not watched a lot of Big 12 basketball. As Frank Mason is fouled, he'll shoot free throws when we come back. And also when we come back, you'll hear from Shaka Smart.
Andrew, subs in. Hey, guys, in general, all right, if Josh Jackson is out in the corner, something's coming. Guards, biggest thing is, go. If you can get downhill, now that one's going to be there. Right, Marcus, you deliver the final word. Hey, win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win.
Well, it's a time of transition for Texas. Shaka Smart was a winner at VCU, went to the Final Four 5 years ago. And Texas is used to going to the NCAA tournament. They went just about every year under Rick Barnes. Last year they went. They got a very young team, and they're going to have the most losses in 33 years at this school. But he's trying to keep it positive. He likes this group. He likes the character of this group.
He's replacing a Hall of Fame coach in Rick Barnes, who we were with in Maui. Remember we were spending all the time on our bikes over there with Rick Barnes? Where were you?
I wasn't there.
Anyway, they've been asking about you over in Maui, but the Longhorns, they're better in practice than they are in the games. That's not a good situation. They look good on radar, but they're seeking consistency. They got to work on player development. The players have got to buy into the process here. Let's go. Get to work, get the weight room.
People that are listening at home, if you don't like what we're doing, it's next to the growling that we've had over the course of the year when we have Bears. How about that play there? Great steal by Yancey and the putback.
One of the 5 worst inbound passes in the history of Kansas basketball. Come on, Josh. You're holding up the legacy and the tradition and the heritage and the history of Detroit. Spencer Haywood, George Gervin, Johnny Davis, the old guys. Now the young guys, Shane Battier, future Hall of Famer Chris Webber. Let it
Jackson
fly,
swishes home his second three-pointer. And Jackson off to a great start for Kansas.
I love the way that
Landon
Lucas steps out. Turn that guard away.
Allen got the putback, and you can see the skill. This guy's 6'11", putting it on the floor. 6 points for Allen.
He's the savant of this team. The local boy does great. Incredibly smart, quiet guy. And he doesn't have that overwhelming strength and power that so many of the young players have just coming into college basketball. He's not one of the guys who lifted weights. His dad is a much bigger, much burlier guy.
Did you guys lift a lot of weights?
Never.
When you were playing?
Never.
I know you lift them now.
In the pros.
You didn't lift it. You did in the pros. But in college, you did not.
I started lifting in the pros because of Wilt Chamberlain, who was a Kansas alum. Wilt, he told me in my first year, said, Bill, you got to get on the weights. That's what Wilt did himself, because he felt, even though he was Rookie of the Year, MVP, averaged 39 points and 29 rebounds as a rookie, he felt that he had been pushed around out there on the court. Beautiful shot.
Eric Davis, only a 27% three-point shooter, but he gets Texas within 2.
Look, he made that one. So what does the 27% mean?
I'm giving fans context. Thank you.
I want you to tell me before he takes it whether he's going to make it. Beautiful passing.
Jackson with the extra pass.
Carlton Bragg. Yes, one of the few big guys that plays for Bill Self. You know, their season completely changed 5 games in when Udoka Azubuike, just 17 years old from Nigeria in high school basketball in Florida, broke his wrist, had to have surgery. He won't play till next year. Terrible call.
That was a terrible call. Bragg got in the way. It's a foul. There's Azubuike out with that left wrist. Hey, coming up next, it is UCLA and Arizona. Our Saturday primetime game presented by AT&T. It'll be the first top 5 matchup in the conference since Washington State and UCLA 9 years ago. Wazoo was number 4. Then you got BYU and the number 1 team in the country, Gonzaga, as the Bulldogs look to finish the regular season unbeaten.
BYU, like the Texas Longhorns, the only schools that have their own network. Both of them owned by ESPN. Thank you, John Skipper. Beautiful pass.
Good defense. Vic breaking up the pass.
Hey, Carlton Bragg, he looks good. This is the first time I've seen him play.
Bragg had 15 points in their last game, tying a career high as they beat TCU.
I thought their last game was Baylor.
They just beat TCU the other night.
TCU's in the Big 12?
Oh, boy. Missing that is Davis. You need to get out more.
I thought we were doing UCLA, Arizona. What happened there? I got to the airport, they said, this ticket's no good.
This ticket's for Austin, not Tucson. Guess what?
Oh, my God.
Not only are you coming to Austin, right? But you are going to do something that I never thought I'd see Bill Walton do. Trying on cowboy boots.
The red boot.
Wow. I keep looking for Curious George to see what that hat on there.
What an incredibly fun day. So I got a shirt from the new football coach.
Tom Herman.
Tom Herman, yeah, from Houston, right? He brings me a shirt. Keep Austin weird. We're going to do our best today. And maybe I'll just strip down right here and put this shirt back on.
No, don't do that. Kerwin Roach with a free throw. Bill is taking his shirt off. Thank you, guys, for not showing Bill, who isn't wearing deodorant, taking his shirt off. Tom Herman announced in front of everybody, since Bill Walton is here, we are going to give him tie-dye. And
there we go. Oh,
and a steal. And a foul as Roach is hacked by Mason on the way to the basket. So free throws coming up as Texas looks to tie the game. That's the first on Mason and the third on Kansas. Is that the first time you met Tom Herman, by the way?
I can't remember. But I do know this, is that he was a very hot commodity on the coaching ranks this year. And a lot of schools that I'm close to were talking to him and hoping that he was going to come to the conference.
What do you mean, a lot of schools? Well, hold on, you got some specifics now. You can't just throw that out there.
I'm just going to...
UCLA, they have a coach.
I'm just going to give it the answer that you always give. A lot of people.
Oh.
A lot of people are talking.
I wonder if you're talking about UCLA because they have a coach in Jim Moore.
I'm not talking about UCLA.
Okay, but you're saying other teams in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Tom Herman has found a home here. This is where he was originally. He was a GA here. He coached for Urban Meyer at Ohio State. He was the offensive coordinator when they won the national championship a few years ago. And then he went to Houston as the head coach.
But this program here, beautiful play. Josh Jackson. What a glorious example of how to play the game of basketball. He doesn't look nearly as big on TV as he does in person. Fortunate bounce. That's Big Shaq out high, making the intangible play, poking it right to his teammate Jared Allen. Shaka Smart. The Longhorns back on top. Ooh. You got any Longhorns?
How about that Jared Allen, the outstanding freshman from Round Rock, which is in the Austin area, McDonald's All-American. Had a great game in the first meeting against Kansas. 22 points, 19 rebounds. And Bill Self told us before the game, hey, we're concerned about this Texas team because of the matchup. They played very well in Lawrence. A 10-2 run right now by Texas.
I do get out. I know somebody who spent time in their life here in Austin. Our daughter-in-law, our second son, Nate, married an angel of mercy who went to the University of Texas. Her name is Allie. And she was a swimmer here, a swimmer diver. She was on the U.S. Olympic team that went to Athens. And she is just absolutely fantastic. She has given us our 8th grandchild. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Nate.
Is Nate the guy that just made $1 billion for his company? Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did read that.
Did you get a cut of that, is what I want to know.
I want nothing. I'm just a proud and lucky dad.
McCulloch missing, rebounded by Jared Allen. So you should see your one son, Luke, is making like $5 million a year. Your other son's just made $1 billion. And here you are working with me. Frank Mason to the rim, lays it in with the left hand.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world. When that story came out in the Wall Street Journal last week, you should see the emails that have come into me, including one today from Steve Paliuca, the owner of the Boston Celtics, along with Rick Grosbeck. And when Nathan, before he went to Stanford Graduate School, before he met and married Allie, he lived with Steve Paliuca and their family. Steve is the main guy at Bain Capital up there in New England. And just, it's absolutely incredible how it's all played out here. And to be able to come here and watch this Kansas team play. I love this kind of basketball. I mean, the way they're just constantly attacked, they're passing constantly.
Offensive foul here on Landon Lucas. It was not set on the screen, so that's his first foul. Well, Texas is hanging around. You got to appreciate the way the Longhorns are fighting here, knowing that they're 10-18 on the year.
But that's Shaka Smart. And please forgive me if I call him Shaka Khan, but I used to know Shaka Khan years ago.
Now, you called him Shaka Zulu in our meeting with him.
Well, that's who he's named after.
I know, but you called him that.
Right,
That's
Shaka
not his name,
Zulu.
though.
His name's Shaka.
His last name is Smart.
What a story. I mean, here's a guy from Madison, Wisconsin. Isn't that where you're from?
Yeah, it is.
I thought you were from Mars. And, I was at the Space and Earth Exploration School in Tempe the other day, and I was looking for you. Did you drive the Mars rover here?
Come over here by Texas. Kansas. And a slam by Vick.
Devontae Graham. He was the number 4 guy I was telling you about the other night.
Yes, he wears number 4. Rebound by Vick.
This guy, Vick, 2 and 4. Keep your eyes on those guys because they make it all possible. Frank Mason, a legitimate player of the year candidate. 22, my God.
That's Dwight Colby.
Dwight Colby from the Bahamas and Ole Miss.
Yeah. So, who's your player of the year in this conference? Josh Jackson, the freshman, or Frank Mason, the 4-year senior?
Look, this is the second game this year that I've really paid attention to. In the big, what is it?
It's the Big 12.
Okay. What's their nickname? Conference of...
We'll tell you later. Again, just hang tight.
Oh, what a pass. Come on, you got to rotate on that play, Shaq. Watch out. Watch out.
And Grant hits the deck. Boy, the defender was trying to back off. I don't know if there was much contact, but they get Eric Davis for the foul. That is his first.
A moment ago, the quick hands. Vick, Gerald Vick from Memphis. And that's where Penny Hardaway is from. And they throw it down. My goodness. So this guy at the line right here, Devontae Graham, from Raleigh, North Carolina. Remember the other night we had Conference of Champions game with Torian
Graham. Yeah. This is Devontae Graham.
Now, I'm told they're not brothers.
No. Devontae Graham with a free throw 77% of the year.
Yeah, Devontae told me that himself. But they grew up together. Not real close, but they played against each other their entire lives before going separate ways. And Devontae Graham, it's just absolutely incredible. Here's a guy who loves LeBron James, but you know, he's not going to be LeBron James. He's not 6'8" and however many pounds LeBron is. 270. So the guys who hits it. LeBron weighs 270.
Yes. You saw him. We were just there a week ago. He's 6'9", 6'10", 270.
Wow. Anyway, so the guys he really looks up to and sort of models his game after these days, Chris Paul and Damian Lillard. And he's totally into fashion, sort of like me. I hope I didn't lose that other shirt. That's a good one.
Where are the boots? Did you actually buy any of the boots?
Yeah, I got bit by the rattlesnake. I got eaten by the alligator. I'm just lucky and happy to be here.
Here's Roach off the dribble. Great defense. Throws it away. It's another turnover. 8 by Texas. Kansas right now in front by 7.
These guys won't give up. Kansas City is where the Big 12 championship will be played, and obviously the Jayhawks will be the favorites, having won 13 straight regular season titles. Out of the timeout, the alley-oop to Colby.
Out of a timeout, a full-court fast break. Come on, Longhorns, moo. Sounds like somebody's taking your hay away from you.
You and I will be in Vegas for the Pac-12 championship.
Las Vegas, please.
Who do you think is the favorite?
Are you going to be in Francisco? Are you going to be in Angeles? Are you going to be in Diego? Please.
In Vegas, who do you think will be the favorite to win the Pac-12 tournament?
Who's winning this afternoon's game?
Well, Oregon won tonight.
Oh, wow.
With 3 on the timer, you could have passed the ball there, and right there, that sequence kind of tells you all you need to know about what's happened with Texas.
So I guess poor officiating is not just unique to the Conference of Champions.
All right, so here are the top 4 in the Pac-12.
Pac-12, okay, I got this.
So UCLA beats Arizona tonight on ESPN. And Oregon moves ahead of Arizona because it owns the tiebreaker.
Right, I got that. Yeah. We talked about that last game.
I know, but it's good to talk about it again because you get a different set of viewers here.
I want to talk about how great Lonzo Ball is.
Foul called as Colby is hacked, and he'll go to the line.
But all your friends, the people who remain faceless and anonymous, come and beat down your
You're talking
door,
about
right?
GMs and scouts?
Right.
Who don't want me to tell people publicly what they've said? That's what you're talking about.
No, I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the guys who rank these players publicly. They've got Frank Mason as the leading candidate for the player of the year in college basketball.
It wouldn't work.
Leading candidate. And he's fantastic. Well, look, you know who his favorite player is? His favorite player is Dirk Nowitzki. I never would have guessed that. I mean, Dirk is twice Frank's size. Yeah. But Shaka Smart, he has known Frank Mason because he's from the Virginia area, the Richmond area, where Shaka Smart was over there at VCU. 12 raving about him this morning.
12-0 run by Kansas. Frank Mason averaging 20 points and 5 assists. He's the first player since the formation of the Big 12, which was 96-97, Bill. He's the first player ever to average those numbers. He's had an incredible season for the Jayhawks. And a great story is Colby gets the swat. And Frank Mason, as a freshman, averaged 5 points per game. He's a 4-year player.
So he should have shot this mark today. He said it in 1 sentence. Confidence, toughness. Here's Graham. What a pass.
Jackson, pump fake, drives the lane. Missed the floater. And out of bounds to Texas. All right, the TD Ameritrade meaningful returns.
Okay.
So you look at the improvement just from last year, but go back to his freshman year when he was a role player, averaged about 5 points per game. He's one of the most improved players from last year to this year in college basketball, now shooting over 50% from 3.
Please, Dave. It is Dave, right?
Nice look underneath, and Allen is fouled by Josh Jackson.
Kansas is one of the top 5 programs in the history of basketball. And how many freshmen are going to be able to come in and just all of a sudden take over?
Well, Andrew Wiggins, Josh Jackson, I mean, I can keep going. That's how it's been with Bill Self. He gets
okay, so
great
he was
Joel
playing
Embiid
behind those guys, right?
Well, initially, remember, he wasn't highly recruited like Josh Jackson. Frank Mason is a smaller guy, so he wasn't someone that was going to go to the NBA right away at 5'10". But there are people that think he's going to make it in the league. He may not be a high draft pick, but he's going to find his way onto a team and stick around for a long time as a backup.
And T.J. McConnell will win undrafted. There you go. So with comments like that, I need to get a shirt. Will somebody please make me a shirt that says, "Keep Dave," with a question mark, normal.
You're going to make a billboard out of it like you did with the Oblivious? As Kansas gets another easy basket, 33-21 Jayhawks.
You know what? Tomorrow is the 2nd anniversary of that, the truest statement you've ever said. Dave Pasch, I am oblivious, from Boulder. February 26, 2015.
We'll be in Boulder next week. Don't say anything.
Fantastic. Yes.
Here's Roach.
Can we go to Standing Rock from there?
We've got a Round Rock that's nearby Austin. That's where Jared Allen is from. Here's Jones with a turnaround. Andrew Jones from Irving, Texas. Great story, by the way. Sad story in a lot of ways what happened to his father, David Jones, who was paralyzed in a car accident.
His name's David.
Yeah, I just said that. Now, Andrew Jones, whose sister is a great player at Baylor, started out at Duke, Alexis, and transferred to Baylor. Andrew wrote a letter to Texas when he wanted to come here. A very well-written letter explaining his family situation and how much he'd be honored to be a Longhorn. It's really refreshing to read that as Vic drains a three.
Well, and how incredible. You know, David's been paralyzed now for 9 years. Mom, Carly, she's been keeping everything together. But to have 2 children who are both All-American basketball players, one on the men's side and one on the women's side, tremendous. As is that shot right there by Jared Allen.
He's another McDonald's All-American, 11 points for Allen.
Yeah, this Shaka Smart, he's got 2 high school All-Americans, Allen and Andrew Jones.
And they got a verbal from Matt Coleman, who plays at Oak Hill, who likely will be the point guard next year if he ends up signing with Texas. It's going to take some time with this Longhorn program because obviously Shaka's a very good coach, good recruiter.
I really like Shaka. Spirited practice, but he's got to be able to transfer that to the games. And you got to have the players, more so now than ever. And a year ago, UCLA had one of the worst teams in the history of basketball. This year, they have a real chance to win the championship. And take a look this afternoon right after this game. UCLA at Arizona, Conference of Champions, Lonzo Ball, tons of other stars. Oh, please. I've got to go get change. Excuse me. Keep Austin weird. Fantastic atmosphere in here. The band is sparking it up. Willie Nelson, Stevie Ray Vaughan. They got the new Stevie Van Zandt Hotel in town here. Janis Joplin got her start on 6th Street here. What an incredible experience this has been.
And you didn't want to come here. You're happy you made it now. You did all this research.
I'm having a blast here. This has been fantastic. I mean, you know.
You and our producer, Dr. Noel, were up at the crack of dawn trying on boots.
I keep hearing all these things about how it's nothing but carnage and crime and terrorist and immigration and everything. Please.
Nice
God
pass.
help America.
Bless.
Beautiful.
Nice pass as Landon Lucas scores again inside, and Kansas starting to have its way with Texas.
Well, Kansas is like UCLA. I should say UCLA is like Kansas because Kansas has had a better year. But they can score so effortlessly, and the way they get up and pressure guys defensively, and they have such length, incredible quickness, and physical fitness, stamina, explosiveness.
Yeah, Bill Self told me he thought that was interesting, that that's the first thing that came out of your mouth today when you talked to the team, since you don't remember what you said when he did. Talking about their conditioning as Jackson drives and misses. By the way, UCLA has the same record as Kansas. Air ball by Mason. They have grazed the rim. Texas ball. Kansas by 11. You can actually...
Kansas been in the top 5 all year. What was the highest UCLA got? 2nd? And as soon as they got to 2nd, they lost at Oregon.
Well, it was on a last-second Dylan Brooks shot.
They missed a free throw.
Now, Bryce Alford yet didn't miss a free throw.
Never should have taken.
All right, you mentioned the Bruins. They're up next against Arizona in our Saturday primetime game.
That's going to be a great game. Great atmosphere.
Presented by AT&T. And then you got #1 undefeated Gonzaga going for a perfect regular season against BYU.
So you've seen Gonzaga.
I have.
Are they as good as Kansas and UCLA and Oregon and Arizona?
Well, They're the best team I've seen in person this year. But
that's a yes or no. It's a yes or no question.
No, there's more to it because I saw them against St. Mary's. I didn't see them against Arizona. Now I watched that game, but I didn't see it in person.
Look, when you play the Sisters of the Poor, you're going to have
beat Arizona, though. They beat Arizona.
Right,
and St. Mary's is a good team.
In that Hall of Fame bogus game at Staples Center where maybe 10 people.
It's still a game. They play on the floor.
Okay.
There were officials there.
Okay.
Just because you weren't there doesn't mean that it wasn't a game.
Yeah, I tried to watch, but when I turned it on and saw there were 3 people there, I said, well, if nobody else is going to go, why should I come?
Roach missed the front end of the one-and-one, rebounded by Jackson.
I was invited to go. I will say that. I think I had a conflict.
The most talented team I've seen in person this year is UCLA. Offensively. Offensively. And defensively, they're playing better. But offensively, they're the best team I've seen this year. Would you agree with that? Nice follow by Colby. He's had 10 points here in the half. He averages 1 point per game.
So all 3 Pac-12 teams are capable of winning the championship, as is this Kansas team. And it's how you play that day. And that's what Bill Self does. Bill Self, he has his teams ready to go.
Are you worried about Kansas's rebounding? That's something Bill Self is concerned about. Well, the coach is worried about it. There's Claire missing, rebounded by Colby.
That's a great rebounder right there.
Mason.
You have to have great players to win, and they have that. Over the top, Colby doing it all.
And the swat by Allen.
Jimi Hendrix. Electric Ladyland. Purple Haze. Spark it up, Jimmy. Let's go. I love that headband. You know, Wilt used to wear a headband. Wilt went to Kansas.
Yes, thank you.
As a freshman.
Josh Jackson hangs, can't finish.
So Wilt used to call me after the games, but I would broadcast early on. This was, 25 years ago. He'd get really mad when I say that he had missed 5,000 free throws in his career.
So he'd call you and rip you for stuff you said.
Yeah. No, he just said, Billy, don't say that. Because if I thought they were important, I would have made them.
Jones knocks down the jumper. Texas back within 11.
Wilt, like Kareem, when they were both freshmen, they beat the varsity. In Wilt's game, the freshman varsity game, he had 42 points, 29 boards. So take that, stat man.
16 foul on Texas as Andrew Jones picks up his second.
You don't need any help in getting weird.
So Jones going to go to the bench with 6 points, 2 fouls. And Kendall Yancey will check in for Texas. How about Kansas winning 13 straight conference regular season titles? Exactly what you were a part of at UCLA, winning 13 in a row. Do you ever think you'd see another school do that? Offensive foul here on the push by Colby, a second.
Well, I love excellence, and that's why I love what's going on right now at Kansas. I mean, that's what Bill Self has done here.
I know, but did you ever think you'd see a school do that?
Why not?
Because it's really hard to do, to win 13 in a row. And
no, it's not. You just do it.
The times have changed. There's much more parity in college basketball than there was when you played.
No, we were just better than everybody else.
Yeah, but there's much more parity now. Because there isn't a dominant team year in, year out.
Well, Kansas, they're up there every year. Duke, Kentucky,
the other great
legendary
programs like you guys did.
We had better players and we had a better coach.
All right, so I guess you're not. I'll answer it. So you're not surprised that Kansas has won 13 straight conference titles. Okay.
And I admire their excellence. I admire their consistency. And to be able to come and spend time with these guys and learn the new generation. This program has only had 8 coaches ever. You know, James Naismith, he invented the game.
Roy Williams
he was
is
their
in the Hall of
first
Fame,
coach.
now in North Carolina.
He was their first coach. And one of his players was Fog Allen.
We have a 3-second difference between the game and shot clocks here. Final 30 seconds of the first half.
Fog Allen was so good. He was a senior. James Naismith left to go do something else. And they made the player the coach, Fog Allen. And then he went on to a 50-year coaching career. At one time, coaching 3 different college teams at the same time. Kansas, Baker, Haskell Indian Institute.
Shot clock down to 5. Here's Mason with a pull-up. In and out on the 3. Texas has time. 3 seconds left. Mason, 1 second left. Half-court try from Rose. Off the back
backboard, no good.
Longhorns trying to hang tough here.
And they are hanging tough. Down just 9. Kansas's bench outscoring Texas's bench 17-0.
What does a Jayhawk sound like?
Let's send it to halftime. Reese Davis, Jay Williams, Seth Greenberg, and Tucson.
Hi, Jake.
No high. Hi, Bill. No high for
Coach Self. Yeah, number 4, number 2. Keep it
They have
weird.
names.
Keep
They
it
have
real.
names, by the way. Number 4 is Graham. Number
Graham
2
and
is
Vic.
Vic. Thank
They're
you.
excellent, too.
That was the funniest thing you said all year. All right, what did you think of Kansas dominating the paint? I mean, Texas actually has the mismatch in terms of size, but it's Kansas outscoring them in the paint 24-8.
Kansas is better, they're quicker, they're in better shape, and they're more physically mature. They went on a 12-0 run as soon as they fell behind, but this guy, Josh Jackson, what a player. He looks like he's about 6'3" the way he moves. Landon Lucas in the middle grows up a huge Blazer fan. His dad was a pro in Japan, and Frank Mason here, who grew up there in Virginia, Petersburg, Virginia, very tough deal, but the ability of Kansas to move the ball, the selflessness that Bill Self creates, the environment, the culture. We saw R.C. Buford here today for San Antonio. That's what they have. That's what the Golden State Warriors have. That's what Bill Self has. And the Longhorns can't even get the ball in bounds. Please, on the first play of the half.
Leading scorer for Texas in that first half was Jared Allen with 13 points and 5 rebounds. Dwight Colby's leading Kansas with 10 points off the bench. His career high is 12, which he had earlier this year.
You are too concerned with the stats.
I'm just giving people the stats so they know who the leading scorers are.
That's not true at all. Kansas
They don't want to know.
Kansas is not about, for those keeping score at home, just go online, ESPN.com. Throw it down, Josh.
Missed the layup again. He's missed several of those.
Look.
Are you enjoying
That's not a layup.
Are you enjoying the Big 12, by the way?
Is that the name of this conference?
There's Allen with the stuff. Texas back within 7.
This has been super fun. The worst part of the trip was LAX. Oh, my gosh.
The first negative thing I've ever heard you say about Southern California. Ever. Off the foot
Could you imagine,
Texas player.
could you imagine if LAX was your airport of daily use? I mean, I fly
So what does
every
Luke do?
day.
What does your son do?
They have a charter plane. Come on.
You still got to fly out of LAX. It's not taken out from his house.
Look, yeah, he lives very close to LAX. A beautiful home there in Manhattan Beach. He and Bree and 2 of our 8 grandchildren, Landon and Lawson. Oh, speed. Throw him down.
It was Lucas who got thrown down, so Texas foul.
That's what they do.
It's on Claire, his second. And the first on Texas here in the half. Kansas has already won at least a share of the regular season title, and if they win this game, then they will have the championship outright. It'll be their 9th outright crown in the 13 straight years of winning at least a share of the
And
Big 12.
congratulations to Kansas. What an incredible accomplishment. And they do it with such class and such dignity here. Up against, over the top. Oh.
Over the head of Mikhailuk.
Svi. Let's stick with Svi.
Big possession here for Texas.
You know, so when Svi was going up there in Ukraine, they did not have, shockingly, they did not have the NBA Live. They were watching the old films. They were a bit behind the times and traveling violations.
By the way,
So he grew up watching Michael Jordan and the Bulls all the time, even though he's, I don't know, he's 19 years old. But what a stroke he has. His parents are both teachers. His dad is a college history professor. His mom is the high school biology teacher. I love biology.
What were you talking to Willie Nelson about, or statue at halftime?
It was a private conversation.
Well, you don't remember what you told the team, so I can't imagine you remember what you told Willie Nelson yesterday, as that goes out of bounds.
No, you asked me the wrong question. Bill Self asked me a question that made sense. And so I was able to sort of get right into it. And when I get asked nonsensical questions, I sort of have to organize my thoughts and try to get into what I want to say. But you then always moved on to the next question. Number 4.
Devontae Graham hits the 3.
How about the fact that Kansas has 2 key players who both committed to other schools, very low-level schools. Appalachian State, Towson University.
It's Appalachian. That's how it's pronounced. You, of all people, Mr. History guy, should know that. Nice shot by
I have never said Appalachian.
I know you haven't. That's why
It's always been Appalachian.
it's wrong. It's mispronouncing. The mountains are the Appalachian Mountains.
Well, okay, I'm going to have to go check that.
You need to get out there.
I'm not going to take your word for it.
Here's Mason on the drive.
Because I know you don't like to read.
What do you mean? I know you like to read, but you give me.
I know you don't like music. You can read.
I actually love music. Jones for 3, no. Rebounded by McKaylu.
How about the fact that Elvis Presley played here in Austin in 55? That's 1950.
You missed that one.
Bob Dylan. Oh, beautiful pass.
And the basket by Lucas.
Number 4. How about the fact that Bob Dylan played here in 65, 10 years after Elvis. And the Rolling Stones played here in 06 in the largest grossing music event ever in the history of Austin. Congratulations, Nick, Keith, Charlie, and Ronnie.
I'm 0 for 3.
They had a great picture of him here coming in through the airport. It was spectacular. Traveling violation. Dial a pivot foot, please.
Shot clock at 4. Davis hoists the long 3 and gets it. Texas not going away. Back within 7. By the way,
Texas is in a ton of games. They just lose them all.
Yeah, all of their conference games have been decided at home by 4 points or less. I mean, 4 and 3 in those games. We talked to Shaka Smart before the game. I asked him the only question I got in the 10 minutes we spoke
I
with
was
him.
talking to Shaka about China last year. They got 4 players left from last year's event to China. That was a spectacular trip.
So I asked him if there was a common denominator in those losses. He said, no, all the losses have been different. That's been the problem. There's not one thing you can put your finger on. The 3 goes for Green, his second 3-pointer here in the half.
Devontae Graham has got the best player in the game. Josh Jackson is spectacular. What a pass.
Jared Allen. I don't know if he's going to come back or if he's going to go to the NBA, but he has a skill set that is
smooth.
Incredible.
Smooth the way that KD is smooth.
He kind of reminds me of the Greek Freak a little bit. Giannis Antetokounmpo, his game. Who? You don't know who I'm talking about? From the Milwaukee Bucks, who was just a starter in the All-Star game? But they're about the same size, 6'11". The Greek Freak. The Great Freak. That's his nickname.
Quit using negative connotations.
What are you doing?
I was in the shadow of my man Stevie Ray Vaughan on the water, the Colorado River, Lady Bird Lake.
Turn down the bro house.
Not comets, meteors, really. The stats, don't pay attention to that. These guys are winners.
Yeah, but they mean
they're on a win. No, they don't. The record means something, and whether they win the championship or not means something. You're going to tell me that Lonzo Ball, if he was averaging 1 point less per game, that he wouldn't be as good a player? Ridiculous. You need to get out more.
Lonzo Ball leads the country in assists, by the way. That's why that number's important.
Everywhere I go, people come up to me and talk to me about Lonzo Ball. I'm not sure what player has excited me more recently than Lonzo Ball.
Here's Davis for 3, too strong. Loose ball.
Look at the quickness here.
And Jared Allen tracks it down.
Kansas, absolutely incredible. Their response to the ball, their level of physical fitness, stamina, durability. It's a true tribute to what Bill Self's been able to do there.
Roach to the corner. Now Jones puts it on the deck. Saw it through the line. And Texas is back within 6. Great effort by the Longhorns. 8 games under 500, trying to avoid their 19th loss, which would be their most in 33 years in this program. And they're 5 of 7 from the field in the second half. That's a stat that has teeth to it, Bill. Here's a drive and a finish by Mason, plus a foul. 3-point opportunity.
Okay, so put some teeth around this one and tell me what it was again you were talking about.
When?
Just a moment ago. Andrew Jones just right along the baseline. One of the few times today that Kansas's superb defense has just failed to get it done. Mason, at the finish of that game against Baylor, they just exposed Baylor.
Foul here on Colby. So that's 3 on him. How about both of the wins against Baylor and West Virginia? The way they closed those games.
Fantastic leadership from the bench, culture, and then on-court leadership by Frank Mason. And then you got spectacular potential capabilities of Josh Jackson and how Graham and Vic play so wonderfully, and then Landon Lucas, who I just love. I mean, to be just go out there and just rebound all game long. Paul Silas, Creighton, Dennis Rodman. What school did Dennis go to? I forget.
Into the game now is James Banks, a freshman.
Hello, are you there?
Yeah, let's just watch the game here. We need to stop talking about guys that played 30 years ago.
Talking about rebounders.
Here's Eric Davis.
Lucas.
How about recent rebounding stars, though? Josh Jackson with the rebound.
Like Landon Lucas. That's what I'm talking about. You're still a prepubescent adolescent.
Jackson deflected by Texas. It'll stay with Kansas. You're calling me the adolescent, and you're the guy wearing the Keep Austin Weird tie.
You
realize I'm on like 2 hours late. It's the fourth game in 4 nights. It took a red eye to get here to be with you. That's how committed I am to our partnership.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe anything I say.
With good reason.
Kansas by 8.
Frank Mason. Come on, you pull the trigger earlier on that one.
Graham missed the 3. Offensive rebound for Mason, and he puts it back up and in. Frank Mason now with 9 points for KU.
What balance, what concentration, focus, discipline, power in that little time. This is the guy that's got to come alive right here.
Andrew Jones.
Great defense, Vic.
But he still muscles it up and in. Jones getting the bucket. He averages 11 per game.
Okay, so 40 years ago today, NBA game, Pete Maravich went for 68. We hope that these teams get to 68 today.
Speaking of NBA, you were talking about LeBron James earlier as Andrew Jones picked up his third foul for Texas. Tonight, it's our Saturday primetime game presented by Verizon Wireless on ABC. LeBron, we're told, is questionable to play in that game. Cavaliers
he was questionable the game that we played, and he was the best player by far.
Cover starts with NBA Countdown presented by Straight Talk Wireless at 8 Eastern.
LeBron rarely misses a game. He's one of those guys who delivers each and every night. He's one of the greatest ever to play. Absolutely spectacular on and off the court. Congratulations and thank you, LeBron. What a pass by the Frankie. Well, another great pass.
Back out to Mason.
Hit the foot.
And Mason can't get the bounce. Offensive rebound. And another opportunity here for Kansas.
Well, somebody from the Longhorns, please stick a horn in it and grab it.
They just called a foul inside on James Banks, his second.
How do you expect to win without being able to get a defensive rebound?
So we were talking earlier about R.C. Buford, who's the GM of the San Antonio Spurs, and obviously you got a ton of Spurs fans here in Austin. It's a short drive to San Antonio.
I love everything about Greg Popovich. I stand with Greg Popovich.
They're 31 games above 500.
All right, but they're 10 games behind Golden State.
No, they're not. They're only a handful back in the loss column. It's amazing what they've done this year. They lose a Hall of Famer in Tim Duncan, and their record is just as good. Here's Jones with a steal, and it won't fall, but it'll go to the line. A chance to get Texas within 6. There's RC, who just has done a tremendous job. The way they work together in that organization, from Greg Popovich and R.C. Buford to Chip England, who is an assistant coach that has helped develop Kawhi Leonard into the shooter that he is today.
So let's start at the very top, because that's where leadership comes from, and that is Peter Holt of the Caterpillar family, and Peter's personal story of growing up with everything, and then ending up in Vietnam and losing everything. Mostly his heart and his mind and his spirit and his soul, and then coming back to California and then finding it again, and then getting back into the family and then getting into the NBA. And people like that who see the worst in the history of the world and then to be able to come back and make the world better. And we have that today here, South by Southwest, where everybody comes together, the world comes together, and figure out how to move forward in life. R.C. Buford just down the road. San Antonio, Greg Popovich, thank you, Spurs.
In other news, Texas is back within 6, and the crowd starting to get into this one here. With Kansas, number 3 in the country, trying to wrap up the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Vic on the drive is bumped. by Jacob Young. That is the 15th foul on Texas.
Their path, Kansas, to the promised land, Phoenix, for the NCAA championship game, right? It goes through Tulsa in the first weekend, then Kansas City, which would be, if they make this all the way to Kansas City, they could play 8 games this year in that Sprint Center. That's the privilege of being on top. You earn that privilege, and they've done that. Congratulations, Bill Self. Let it fly, Steve.
All right, so now that you've watched Kansas, you've seen UCLA and Arizona in person, and Oregon, which is the better team, or the 4th.
They're all right there. How many children do you have? Which one's the better one? Come on, man.
You're comparing these teams to your children now.
No,
you're asking who's the best team of the 4 that you've seen in person.
It's how they play. It's how they play that day. Come on, they're all really good. They're all really fun. They're all totally different. Please experience the uniqueness of life.
Safe drivers who switch to Esurance could save money on car insurance. In fact, safe drivers who switch.
Defense, no matter how good Jared Allen is behind, he's not going to be able to send it all back. And at this stage of his career, Jared Allen is not. He's not Akeem Olajuwon yet. But you know, he's got that sense of how to play. He's going to go to the bench right now and grab a quick rest. Is he in foul trouble?
He has no fouls.
Yeah.
Again, Bill, this is the year 2017. Players do go to the bench. We do see subs, although we did a game the other night.
That was fantastic.
There was one player who off the bench who played 1 minute. Everybody else played 40 minutes.
I'm mad at, for the first time in my life, I'm mad at Bobby Hurley. He should have just gone 5 for 40. Come on, Bobby. I love being part of history.
That's when you were trying to convince me that Bobby Hurley tells his recruits that they have solar power. That's the reason that they should come to Arizona State.
You know, you're probably in the coal, right?
Roasted corner, license 3. No, they're going to say that traveling happens, so a turnover.
Now put a lump of coal in your stocking here. But the Kansas Jayhawks, Allen Fieldhouse, one of the legendary. I've never been there in my entire life, but they've had 257 consecutive sellouts. 15 years of it. Roy Williams last year, and then every year since Bill Self. And this guy Jake, who took our game this afternoon,
you mean Jay Billis?
He told
me to take our game. Foul here. And the reach-in by Ison, his second foul.
My calendar said UCLA at Arizona, and then all of a sudden Jake is there.
By the way, when you do a game at Kansas, you can't hear your broadcast partner, and in our situation, it's probably a good thing. It's so loud there.
What a dream come true.
Josh Jackson at the line shooting 2. Fans saw the replay. They didn't like the call.
Say, man, I got a present for you here.
Oh, no.
I was out this morning talking to Stevie Ray and to Willie.
Yeah.
And I found something here. We were on the grass, and this was lying there, this piece of wood with some tillandsias growing on it, clinging onto it. These are very special and sacred plants.
This is another gift.
This is a gift. This is like the air. This is like the books. This is like the dirt. Please, so this is called a tillandsia.
So what if I do this here? Does this work?
I would. No, it's like this right here. It's just like, it's like this right here. It's like this. And then maybe I'll be healed. Oh my God!
You need to be healed. Lucas called for the foul.
Giving it to you.
Thank
please.
you. Thank you. I'll bring that on the plane home. Hopefully I won't get stopped at security.
You'll be fine with that.
Really don't know what that is, nor do I care to know what it is.
It's a special plant, a tillandsia, part of the bromeliad family. And they do not attach, or they don't have roots that go into the ground.
We talk about the game. Can you stop talking about this thing?
It's a free throw.
I know, but it's an important free throw here. And look who's coming back in the game, Jared Allen. So he only sat for a minute.
You didn't listen to the first half. When Will said it, if he thought the free throws were important, he would have made them. Just like he said when people started catching his records. He said, if I thought people were going to catch my records, I just would have doubled them up. Don't ever discount anything Will ever said or did. I love this weave out here because they attack out of it.
Boy, he does such a great job getting into the paint. That's an underrated part of his game, how he's able to weave his way into the lane.
How can he be underrated when he was the leading candidate for Player of the Year?
Well, because coming into the year, people didn't have him there, Bill.
Well, that's why they said.
He's one of the most improved players.
Who was coming in, who was the leading candidate for Player of the Year?
Well, they're a whole freshman everybody was talking. Although Dylan Brooks was getting a lot of love.
one of the returning players. And, you know, Villanova's Josh Hart, Caleb Swanigan from Purdue. Those guys are still in the mix, by the way. But I think what Kansas has done this year, Caleb Swanigan's a great player if you haven't seen him. Frank Mason, he's in the Big Ten. We aren't doing the Big Ten game. There's 14 teams in the Big Ten.
Isn't that where John Wooden went to college, right?
10 teams in the
Class
Big 12.
Of 32. Big Ten Medal of Honor. His greatest, according to him, his most valued honor and award. The Big Ten Medal of Honor given to the top student athlete as a senior.
I was talking about Frank Mason. I think Frank Mason is the player of the year in college basketball. He may not be the best player or the greatest NBA talent, but I think based on what Frank Mason has done and what Kansas has done, Mason is the Wooden Award winner.
They're 5-0 against top 10 teams. They won at Kentucky. They beat Duke. They're 4-0 against top 5 teams this year. So
did you agree?
Your argument, it flies in the face of what you say on the NBA MVP.
Here's Josh Jackson with a two-pointer and swishes it home.
Because you come out and you say, two of my favorite players, Russell and James.
Harden and Westbrook, yes.
Right. You say they're the MVPs.
Yes.
I'm saying that Kevin Durant, the best team in the regular season, and he's been their best player throughout. And we've got a game here. Longhorns trying to hang on.
If you've never tried a juicy, cheesy, iconic Big Mac.
They knock off Baylor. They're one of 3 teams to beat Kansas this year. And Duke, after losing at the buzzer to Syracuse, gets beat by Miami tonight.
Jim Larrañaga, congratulations. One of the finest guys, most interesting guys you'll ever meet. Thank you, Jimmy, for your life, which has led to ours.
Kansas on an 8-1 run to go up by 12. Jackson and Mason had 12 points combined in the first half. They have 14 here in the second half.
Kansas scores off their defense, which is fantastic. That's Boston Celtic Bill Russell basketball. That's John Wooden basketball. Great teams in the history. That's the Lakers with Magic and
Rowan Roach leaning in to get that one. Kansas by 10, 8 minutes to go here in the second half. The Jayhawks trying to get the outright Big 12 title, which would be their 9th during this 13-year run of winning at least a share of the Big 12 crown.
How about James Naismith's original 13 rules are there on campus there in Lawrence? Wow. Fantastic. David Guth, who bought him in an auction and then donated him to the school. That guy's a true saint of circumstance.
ESPN's exclusive preview.
His dad Pekka played here in Kansas for the Jayhawks.
And don't discount the contribution that Sean Miller, the excellent coach for Arizona, made in that big game at UCLA when he just isolated and spread the floor, and then whoever Bryce was guarding, that guy just took it right to the hoop for a layup, and it was a 10-point victory. 10 points wire to wire throughout the second half.
Meanwhile, Dwight Colby, who's had a terrific night, 10 points off the bench at the free throw line here for KU. And he misses the front end of the 1-and-1 after the 19 foul by Texas.
So what's he shooting?
On the season?
No, from the free throw line.
Well, he was 3 for 8 on the season coming in.
Okay, now he's 3 for 9. So that's 33%, right?
Very good. Jackson commits a foul second, only the 14th foul.
How about the fact that Shaka Smart is going to give the commencement speech this spring at Kenyon College, where he got his first start as a coach on his way to the top of the mountain here at Texas. Last year he gave the commencement speech here at Austin for the history department. You know what history is, right?
Mason with a long rebound.
You sure tend to discount it a lot.
And Jackson will slow it down. Now he turns on the Jets and gets tripped on his way to the basket. That's the 10th team foul, so it'll be 2 free throws here. Jared Allen picks up his first personal.
A lot of fouls here today, although not near as many as we had in Shanghai a year ago with Shaka Smart.
All right, so what do you think of Josh Jackson? First time you've seen him in person. Freshman from Detroit. Wooden Award late season top 20 finalist.
I'm amazed how tall he is. First of all, I love his hair. I'm so jealous.
And just to get this in, there was some news involving Josh Jackson this week. It's old news, but now that he had a misdemeanor property
real or fake?
damaging. It's real. It was an alleged vandalism, and they just came out the announcement of the misdemeanor charge. Bill Self has already handled the discipline internally.
Well, good luck, guys.
Kansas by 11, 65-54.
Respect for others.
Allen in the paint.
What timing, what length for Jared Allen.
Flipping it up and in is Jacob Young with a 3 earlier. And again, Texas not done. They're hanging around within 9. This is similar to the game in Lawrence where Texas ended up winning by 12 because it made 11 threes in that game, but Texas was in that game.
Jacob looks so much like his older brother Joe, now starring for the Indiana Pacers.
He won Pac-12 Player of the Year a couple years ago. Remember that?
I do.
You picked T.J. McConnell, but Joseph Young won the award.
I don't get to vote.
Roach 3, no good. If you voted,
I would have voted for T.J. McConnell.
You, Kareem, Luke Walton, Miles Simon on the All-Pac-12 team for 2017. Since you're constantly living in the past.
No, that is not true at all.
Nice putback by Colby.
I have already announced my Pac-12 team of the year.
Well, there's 10 though, so you got to come up with 5 more.
Look, I've never played on a team that had 5. It had 10 players. Basketball teams have 5 players,
but the All-Pac-12 team has 10.
Okay, then you vote.
Allen facing up. Spins out on the jumper. Josh Jackson with the easy clear.
Colby and Lucas have dominated the inside. Jared Allen's got nice numbers, made a few nice plays, but he hasn't had the impact, hasn't had the control. Josh Jackson, sorry.
Joe Jackson's a center. It's Josh Jackson. Here's Jones with the layup on the other end.
I thought Joe Jackson was a baseball player.
That's shoeless Joe. The one you're talking about, though, I assume was a musician.
I was talking about
reference.
Joe, the baseball player. Timeout on the court. Yeah.
Jones with 16 points, by the way. His career high for Texas is 17. Tonight, after UCLA and Arizona, it's Sports Center at night with Kevin Connors and Lisa Kearney.
I never would have guessed that Sports Center would be on at night.
Everything from a busy night in college basketball, NBA, NFL news, plus a report from Daytona. Sports Center at night. All right, so you call the Pac-12 Conference of Champions and often over 100 times during the course of a telecast.
Conference of Champions.
Here at
Big
12, it's the Conference of Kansas. You haven't said that once. 13 straight Big 12 regular season titles ties UCLA's record, which you were a part of.
That's because I have respect for the opposition.
Look at the last 13 seasons, their scoring margin, plus 11.
Ultimate respect. The next coach, as a coach to go into the Hall of Fame, have him be on the Final Four Monday in early April in Phoenix.
And he's a finalist. It'll be announced on April 3rd. Kansas.
I used to get to vote on that. I don't get to vote anymore. I would vote yes on him. I'd also vote yes for Bo Ryan, who's not coaching anymore.
I agree with you, Bo Ryan.
So how about the musicians here? Willie Nelson, Roy Orbison, Steve Miller, Janice, Don Henley.
Great backdoor pass. Well, Gerald Vick, again, every time out, Kansas has executed perfectly offensively. Reach-in foul here on Frank Mason.
I love the quick hands of Kansas and their willingness to take a chance. You know, you guys who show up at these games in your suits like that, look like I'm not sure what you're dressed for and ready to go, but you got to come and be willing to step out onto the edge.
Just proper television attire, by the way. You used to wear, in fact, I've seen you wear a suit and tie. When I first did games with you 10 years ago on ESPN, NBA 2006, you wore a suit and tie. I don't know what has happened since.
Well, the doctor said you can't wear a necktie anymore because it strangles the blood flow to the head, and that will prohibit the healing and the regeneration of your spine.
You're being serious?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay, well, I don't know. That's the question.
You want me to bring a note next time from Dr. Steve Garfield to save my life? Are you kidding?
I never heard that a necktie will
strangle blood flow to the head. Yes.
Okay. Nice block on Frank Mason, and Texas turned it over. He had stepped on the end line.
Landon Lucas, his pursuit of the ball. He speaks Japanese. He's just one of those really intelligent guys. He's playing with a very severely injured right thumb. I looked at it this morning in practice, and the thing is swollen as can be, and the danger that you take, the risk that you take when you tape up an injury like that, the other team just comes out and they just whack you. Wherever the tape is, they go at it. Beautiful ball movement. Vic, 2. Graham, 4. Frankie, 0. Let it fly.
And Mason hits a 3 with 1 on the shot clock. And that puts Kansas up by 13 with 4.5 remaining.
And like UCLA, able to score effortlessly in so many different ways.
26 straight games with a made 3 for Frank Mason.
Great screen shot.
65 threes on the season. That's 2 per game.
He changed his mind on his shot. These two young guys for Shaka Smart, Shaka's like beside himself. But the 2 young rising stars, Kerwin Roach and Eric Davis, when they come in out of Houston, out of Upper Michigan and Saginaw, they have promising freshman years, but they don't take that next step. And you got to come and work so hard to get to the top of the mountain. Please. Vic, this guy's got a game.
Vic with a spin, got it swatted away though by Claire. Kansas keeps shot clock at 10.
Ton of time.
Mason hit the deck.
Landon Luke is one of my favorite players. He just goes after that glass.
Texas looking to push tempo. 3-on-1. Good look that time by Roach to a cutting Mo Isom. Isom, an Austin native. He went to Arkansas Little Rock, then transferred back home.
But the fact that this Texas franchise here, they've got 8 current guys in the NBA.
Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge, 2 of them.
Corey Joseph, DJ Augustine, Tristan Thompson.
I saw Kevin Durant score 37 points and get 23 rebounds in a game at Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that in the half or the whole game?
No, it was the whole game against Bob Knight and Texas Tech in Lubbock.
Good.
What do you mean good?
I love Kevin Durant.
And Claire threw it away that time, trying to hit Roach. So we got a timeout. Kansas by 13 over Texas.
Roy Orbison, yeah, thank you, Roy. The Beatles and Elvis opened for Roy Orbison. That's how great he was. Rest in peace, Roy.
ULOS had to hurt today at home against West Virginia. Here are the #1 seeds for Joe Lunardi, including Kansas in the Midwest. No surprise. No teams from the Pac-12 there, Bill.
Well, there's 3 teams that can win it all from the Pac-12. Oregon, Arizona, UCLA. 2 of them are playing right after us here tonight. Talking about champions, though. Man, last night flying in here in an interminable delay at LAX, I got the chance to reacquaint myself with Carl. Carl from Longhorns Country here. He's part of the administration here. We were with him in China a year ago, and he was so fun, and to see his pride about Texas and about the university here. He was out in California doing what he does, and it was just incredible, and to see how physically fit he is, and just so spectacularly excited and committed to this university, and that's what it takes. The pride, the loyalty, and the gratitude. Congratulations, Carl. Thanks for everything. Thanks for giving all these young people the chance of a lifetime to build something for themselves.
Unfortunately, we saw how physically fit you were earlier when you had your shirt off. The whole country saw it.
Man, Coach Tom gave me a shirt, man. I had to put it on.
Yeah, Tom Herman, the head football
coach. It's a very nice shirt here. I'm going to keep this one. But the other one that I had on before the game and during the first segment,
it wasn't as much the sight if you were removing it as it was the smell. Out of bounds. Texas.
That other shirt was made by real hippies.
Oh, goodness. This actually happened on national TV, and I'm sure it's going to be on Sports Saturday night.
Why?
The lady behind is like, is this really a Hall of Famer Bill Walton, one of the top 50 NBA players of all time?
That other shirt, you ever been to the locker room? You ever been to the beach?
Yeah, but those aren't broadcast on national television. With a guy 65 years old.
64, and just getting started. But that other shirt, I was on the road in Oregon.
Josh Jackson, wow, he tried to do a Jordan there, hang and finish with the left hand.
James.
Andrew Jones puts it in. 11-point game, 2 minutes to go. Texas trying to press.
Josh Jackson, phenomenal player, creativity. Whoa.
And a steal and bucket for Roach, and the Longhorns win in 9.
If This is a microcosm of the macro world that Shaka Smart lives in. Timeout here.
Boy, I thought Graham traveled before he called timeout. Either that or stepped on the sideline.
Think again. This guy's a champion player.
Doesn't mean he didn't turn it over.
So that other shirt that I had on came with today, that was a special shirt because I've been on the road in Oregon too long. And I ran out of clothes, and so some friends of mine, they got me this shirt, and they said, Bill, take this. This will serve you well. It's made by real hippies. And it turned out that it was because I ended up meeting those people.
That's great. All right, the play of the game driven by Continental Tires is 3 by Frank Mason, which was the dagger.
I ride Continental Tires, my gator skins. 28s in the back and 25s in the front.
Mason with 16 points to go along with 3 assists. That was his only 3-point basket of the night, but it was a big one.
And he's the guy who's going to be responsible for getting the team all the way to the championship because he can create individually. When the other team is good, when the other team is dug in defensively, who can get a shot for himself, for somebody else, and who can get to the free throw line? Offense wins championships.
You still haven't answered the question.
What was the question?
Who's better, Kansas, Oregon, Arizona, or UCLA?
They all can win. They all can win.
I know that. Anybody can say they all can win, but you're the analyst. Who do you think is the best team that you've seen? You're not going to answer that, are you?
Because I've seen them all play excellent. And
offensive foul. That's a huge turnover there by Mason. That's his 4th personal, and now Texas gets the ball down 9.
Kansas has not played as well today as they played against Baylor. That Baylor game now is spectacular. You know, the emotional commitment that it takes to win all these games. And to be able to bring it up every single time. That's the mark of the true champion. Mental acuity, emotional commitment.
Baseline cut off for Davis. Out to Jones for 3. Off the mark. Rebounded by Vic. Texas within 6.
Next Thursday. That's the 55th anniversary of Wilt's 100-point game. Wilt also has the record for the most rebounds ever in a game. 55 rebounds in one game at Boston against Bill Russell. Congratulations, Kansas. On your way again. Hope to see you at the Final Four. Class acts here. Bill Self just standing over there so confident. Incredible.
Mason missed. And here comes Texas. Inside 30 seconds to go. Davis for 3.
Bill Self is from
offensive foul here on the rebound attempt. As Josh Jackson hit the deck, but appears to be okay. We got Lonzo Ball up next. UCLA and Arizona matchup of top 5 teams in Tucson.
What a beautiful stroke Lonzo has.
So Bill Self, Showman on the call next.
Jake.
Ago when he said he was recruited by UCLA and you said for what? He'll be calling the game now.
Yeah, he's paying me back today. So Bill Self is from Oklahoma, a suburb, Edmond, I believe, from a suburb of Oklahoma City. A hugely important person in my life, also from another suburb of Oklahoma City, J.D. Morgan, the great athletic director, greatest athletic director in history. The reason that UCLA has more championships than anyone else ever. Although UCLA did not win a single championship in 2016. Oh my gosh, how could that be?
Texas ball down 10. 25 seconds left. They got to hustle here.
Look, they're not going to win this game.
Turnover by Texas. They need to foul. They're not fouling, and so that's it.
They need to play better.
So Kansas will improve to 26-3, 14-2 in the Big 12. They win the conference title outright.
Half the crowd wearing their Kansas blue. They stand up and they start squawking the Jayhawks. No myths here. This team is outstanding. Congratulations to you at the Hall of Fame, Coach Bill Self. Final Four championship. It's right there for them. Can they get it done? Good luck, Frankie, Josh. Number 4 and number 2. Vic, Graham, and Landon Lucas. Yeah, what a game, what a team.
All right, for Hall of Famer Bill Walton, I'm Dave Pasch. Maybe Reese, Jay, and Seth Greenberg will give their opinion as to who they think is the best team they've seen since you wouldn't do it. Texas falls to Kansas 77-60.